Hello everyone, welcome to No Crime, No Time. I'm Danny, also known as RD, and I wanted to talk about something really strange tonight. So I did some research a couple of years ago on crisis workers, and it turns out that the crisis workers that I located actually would go overseas and handle natural disasters where they took care of refugees. And they risked their lives as political hostages doing so. And they have to go through a lengthy process in order to get the funding to be able to do this. And they basically sign away their identity. They just become part of that life. And the reason I bring this up is because it is possible when you listen to the stories that were printed in the newspaper when Teresa spoke. It was always about traveling, freedom. It's almost as if she knew she was going away. And she did tell Tom Pierce at Auto Trader that Tom Pierce at the Green Bay photo studio, that October 31st, Halloween, would be her last day at Auto Trader. So it makes you wonder about, okay, so she was into travel, and it's like all the Halbach kids, from Tim to Mike to Teresa, you have to wonder, what did they gain if this was really the way it worked? So you can quite evidently see how Mike excelled working for sports industry with the Green Bay Packers. Now, interesting enough, when I first started this case, the storyline that I was coming on that kept referring back to the Milwaukee Brewers. Over time, I started seeing things updated and changed to the Green Bay Packers. In the year 2017, most of the things were corrected, if you will, or updated to refer to the Green Bay Packers. Now he's a top advisor for the video part of the Green Bay Packers, where he was the last time I looked within the last year. But he had one stage in there that was quite interesting, because I've watched his career on what the media reports it to be, and that was that his immediate promotion during the time that his sister's search, Teresa Halbach's search, was going on, was he was put directly after that, he was put into crisis management in the media for the Packers. Bizarre, right? Let's look at Tim. He ended up working for a place called, I think it's called TWAG. And it has lawyers, top lawyers. Like, he gets right out of college. He doesn't really even have an intern. He just is hired immediately and part of this very, how do I put this? How strong can I put this? Lineage. It takes lineage. Like, I'm talking about fathers of fathers of fathers. And he just walks right out of college into that job. We've all talked about the milk funding that the Halbachs allegedly received, which had to do with farming. You can dig into that entire rabbit hole if you would like. I'll read on it. We might talk about it next time. Just give you the version of what I have read and researched on that. So, let's jump ahead a little bit. If the person's still alive, the problems I see with that scenario is you would have access to their blood and hair. So you could technically put them on site at that place. So then you have to look at it a different way. Is it possible that this family felt disgraced by this individual family member and literally decided to take a political hit, if you will, in order to benefit. It's quite interesting that when you look at the Halbach family, the husband dies mysteriously down in Florida, where the death records are locked unless you're the next of kin. Yep. The next of kin would have been Karen, the wife, Teresa's mother. Now, you want to talk about interesting. She marries Tom, the brother. That makes Mike a half-brother unless he existed prior from that. But we never hear about Mike mentioned in any of the information about the dad. Creepy. I mean, it's just creepy. I don't know how else to put it. But, you know, it makes you wonder. Teresa is to inherit her dad's fortune, I would think. Right? Which is the farm. Now, we know Bradley Scheck and her were having an affair, and he was married. His wife is pregnant. The wife filed a restraining order, then filed for divorce 5 days later. We see her boozing it up in the bars. Is it possible that they weren't real pleased with what was going on? And the state needs a photographer in this theory to go in there for a sting, right? I'm coming like the part 2 of Sundays. So follow that same theory. You might have to go watch that for this to make any sense. Because we have Kathy Williford running that route for Auto Trader prior to Teresa Halbach. So it makes me feel like, you know, like when Angela Schuster points out Kathy Williford and talks about her being a DEA agent or a DCI agent, whichever it was, I can't remember. It puts light on that the state had their eyes on Stephen Avery through Kathy Williford. Quite clearly. Way prior to there being a Teresa Halbach. And then Teresa comes in, and is she there to photograph things that can lead them to a bust of some sort for narcotics or something? You know, you have to question that. A lot of DE agents and FBI were all over this case. I mean, King Krat shows up with Subway, and he's just went into the DA position, and he shows up when they're looking for the girl. Since when is this a normal thing for a missing person that might be at Walmart too long? Because it's right away in the very beginning. Talking about Walmart, think about the idea of you see the 2 reports out there. One eyewitness reported that they saw the victim, Teresa Halbach, with a black man in a white van go into Walmart, and this man followed directly behind her into Walmart. And another one saw Teresa driving a white van, like in a hurry down a road, like almost frantic sounding. And then there was another one about 2 black men in a van, white van, 3 white vans. And then you've got to look at all the different white vans that they're looking for, in a sense. The investigators, like they're checking out, who was it? I can't remember right now. It's kind of late in the morning. You know how this case gets to you sometimes. I don't want to say Speckman, but it could be. Where she was supposed to go the first time for her first photo shoot. We never do really understand that. She supposedly was paid by check that was left behind. And so she took the first photograph alone. But then it was either Mark Wiegert or Remiker that states right on the stand that they saw the check, but yet it's not in evidence. And then they have to question themselves. Wait a minute, did I see the check? Well, you done screwed up. You're in the court of law. You're not going to misstep your words. You saw the check, but it disappears. That or you're lying. You weren't expecting to get questioned. And you can tell that this entire case has been written in a caso way after the fact. I almost feel like they didn't even make notes on any of it. They didn't want record. And when people started FOIAing for documents, they were like, oh, crap, we got to come up with some storyline here. Do your best to think back. I mean, it's not unheard of. Colburn didn't file his report for years. And he's supposed to remember the details years later. Yet, he's reading off them plates to the dispatch and identifying as Teresa Halbach. And yet, the plates aren't on the damn car. Yet they're folded up. And you can't even put the plates on the car because the front plates have 4 drilled holes with 4 rusty marks from the screws. It's Teresa's first vehicle. It'd be her first set of plates. Yeah. And you can't put them on the car. Well, you could, but why would the rusty holes where you can see screws were in that front plate? They don't go to that vehicle. They go to the green RAV4. And don't think I haven't forgotten about the fact that the DOT, Department of Transportation, all commissions, all transmissions on the day, I believe of, yes, November 5th, did not work. It was radio silence on the DOT. Why? Where was the green RAV4 going? So that nobody could call it in? I mean, I'm just curious. We gotta let Gretchen in. She's whining. Whoop. Now you saw my legs. I'm sitting on my bed, you guys. I'm fully clothed. I'm just in shorts. So these are all questions that, you know, I ramble on in my head about, but I wanted to share them with you. And I think Gretchen's ready for bed, and so am I. Are you, Gretchen? You ready for bed? Come here. Want to go up here? Want to come up here? She don't know what she wants. Maybe she needs to go potty. She's talking to me. I gotta go. I gotta go. So I better go. I love you to the moon and back.